There is a specific video I did where I talked about Americans, more especially young people, not being in a position to respond to simple questions. And from what I have observed from David Rubin, I need to apologize. David Rubin had a discussion in Jubilee, and I have watched a little bit, like the first 15 minutes of that interview, and I was forced to have this video. So I want you to have a close watch, see the response of David Rubin, and make the comparison of how he has responded to a few questions which were put in place, and how the United States government and its officials respond to questions which journalists offer them. And from this video, I am going to share some thoughts I have towards or about David Rubin. Because if this is what adults, not all the adults of the United States, but a few adults of the United States, and more especially those who are in a more what we believe to be influential positions, if these are the beliefs they hold, then why should I blame a young individual who is trying to find his own path on this planet about him not understanding how many countries are in Africa, or not being in a position to even name a few countries which are in Africa, or how many continents are in Africa? Just have a look of the responses of David Rubin.
Can you demonstrate that wokeism has violated the First Amendment by arresting students and faculty members on college campuses?
Okay, well, yes, I can. So let's start. Well, first off, the disastrous war, the quote unquote disastrous war that you're talking about. You're talking about a 40-day military operation that stopped an apocalyptic regime from getting a nuclear bomb and exporting terrorism throughout the world.
In his response, I have heard Marco Rubio, President Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, the likes of Mark Raffin, we have Ted Cruz, and then there is this Senator Lindsey Graham. Those are the responses I have heard from Dave Rubin. I understand that the United States have a lot of issues, more especially which are related to social issues, for example, LGBTQ, all of those issues. Those are not the discussions which I am interested. Those are American issues, and even nobody cares. For instance, the country which I come from, those are not one of the priorities of my country. I understand most Americans, some of them do care, but others, they don't care. The common problem of every American is the rising prices of fuel, foodstuffs, farming products. All those do affect most Americans. So that's the issue which I'm going to talk about. Dave Rubin is saying that the Iranian government is the sponsor of terrorism. That the Iranian government went ahead and strangled the US in the Strait of Hormuz and the whole world in general. But Dave Rubin thinks that the individuals who he's talking to and who he wants to reach, they are so stupid. And that's why he is preaching the government talking points. The individual who is influenced is not the kids, as I may say, or the young people who Dave Rubin is talking to. Those individuals are presenting genuine ideas. But since Dave Rubin is too lazy to go out, or he understands the true picture of what led to that war, he is playing dumb. He understands that the United States government was convinced by Israel to go ahead and attack Iran. And you know what? I believe Donald Trump was ready for that because he was successful in Venezuela and he thought that success breeds success. He thought that once he strikes the Iranian supreme leader, then the Iranian people will be ready to enable their country to collapse. That once they strike more than 160 young kids, that Iranian people will be excited about the freedom which the United States is bringing to Iranian people. But they forget that the Iranian people do understand that it is the United States which armed Saddam Hussein to kill 1 million Iranians. They forget that it is the United States officials forget that the Iranian people, after history, whereby Britain and also the United States initiated a coup where a democratically elected president around in the 1950s was actually removed from power and a puppet of the Western countries was put in place. This puppet was so brutal to the Iranian people. These Iranian officials understand, the Iranian people understand that the United States are only interested in their resources. And something which most Americans need to be aware, because I do understand that most Americans have been misread on issues relating to foreign countries. I understand there are most Americans who believe that Iranian people are illiterate people who cannot form informed decisions. But I need to break to you this good news about the Iranian people. The Iranian people are among the best, how can I say, the best, the level of literacy in Iranian people is so high compared to that in the United States. These are individuals who are learned, who are informed, and who understand even the American people are not free themselves. So they don't buy the idea that the American government or the American people are interested to free Iranians. Why am I saying that the American people are not free themselves? Who or what is the number which approves the war which the United States started against Iran in the United States? I believe it is not beyond 30% of individuals who approve the war. 60% of individuals oppose the war. You would think that where democracy is being observed, then Donald Trump may have already decided to get out of the Iranian war or the war with Iran. But that's not happening because individuals who are in control are the big corporations. The individuals who are interested to sell their oil, their arms, their war machines, all of those things. Those are the individuals who are in control. So the United States itself, it is not a democratic society. So the notion of trying to sell these issues that the Iranian government is a terrorist sponsoring regime, how many countries has Iran invaded compared to the United States? If you say that it was so barbaric, the Iranian regime, to its citizens, I believe every government is so barbaric. I don't support the Iranian regime, but I understand how ICE are actually brutally harassing some of its American citizens. The whole issue of insecurity is so high in the United States. And you need to understand that it is the United States which sponsored some insurgency in Iran. So the likes of David Rubin trying to kind of be in a high moral ground because they are United States residents is some of the BS which the whole globe is kind of fed up. Anyway, I would like your thoughts. What do you think about Dave Rubin? Because for me, I believe he is one of those individual mouthpieces which talks on behalf of the United States or spreads the propaganda of the United States and the other state. I would like your thoughts in the comment section. Just go ahead, subscribe, like, share. Siku njema.